Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry. So we're here for a little bit of a different type of show today. This one is called Therapy for PR Girls. Yes, that's what it's talked about. Therapy for PR Girls, real talk for the Get Out There, Get Known podcast. Are you ready for it? This is one of those shows where I have my girl, Sharon, Leid, and she's going to be with me, and we're going to be talking real talk about PR from someone who's been a career publicist for decades. And every once in a while, you need to be a fly on the wall to hear like the chat between two career publicists about what we're dealing with. And we're trying to make you all great. And sometimes you don't let us help you to be great. So we're going to talk about it, and we'll give you some insights so that you'll know what not to do when working with a publicist, and basically know if you're ready for one, at least one of us. Okay, so we'll come back right after this.
Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
Hey, like I said, so one of the things is that we're going to talk about getting media coverage. And, we don't have magic wands, even though people think that we do have magic wands. But one of the things that me and Sharon both do is that we help people get quick media coverage. Yep, that was brought to you by Quick Media Coverage.
I like that. Hey, Dr. Pam, how are
Sharon. You? I'm doing good. This is my relief podcast, right? This is like my therapy for that, and having you on, because sometimes we could just talk and you're talking me off the ledge because, whoo, girl.
Listen, we talked each other off the ledge just last night.
So give people a little bit of your background, because they need to know how long you've been in the game doing this PR and where you started and what you've been doing.
Oh wow! So I don't call myself the OG. I call you the OG in PR because you've been doing it just way longer than me. But I started out. I know, right? I started out as a community engagement director for the city of New York for the DA's office. And it really just, kind of like fell in my lap for me to start doing PR work for the DA. So it was community engagement, it was PR work, it was, all of that wrapped up in one, working for the city of New York. And, and I found a love for it. When I was able to get people, really it was getting the DA in the media, telling about his great stories. So that's what I was doing. And
New York, which is the number one media market too. So that part.
New York, number one media, and one of the toughest.
Yes.
The toughest. I want to emphasize toughest. Mm-hmm. And, and it's tough when you have somebody like an elected official who stands out a lot, who has a lot of great things that he's, putting out. That was still tough also. So I did that for 18 years. And, new election, DA lost, new DA let me go. I had to kind of figure it out. And that was the start of Netstruck PR. And it was something where my whole network was all law enforcement, because that's my background, law enforcement. But my whole network was law enforcement. And for those of you who know law enforcement, entrepreneurship is not their thing. It just isn't. So, and I'm, not knocking them, but it's just not their thing. So I kind of had to figure out, like, what was my niche? What did I want? Did I want to do not-for-profits? Did I want to do small businesses? And it kind of like, I had to feel it out. And I
Mhm.
love to get, that's my passion, small businesses, entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, those are the type of businesses that I love to deal with, because when you think about it, Pam, Dr. Pam, when you think about it, it's hard. One, small businesses do not know how to pitch themselves properly.
No, they don't. I just had a podcast earlier today talking about pitching. It's like that pitching thing, that is not what people want to do. They
Yeah,
do not want to pitch. Well, people don't like rejection, but you have to pitch in order for people to understand what it is that they need. So I hear your little fur baby acting kind of crazy
do you
as
hear her?
well.
I'm so sorry. She like running up and down, and I'm looking at my husband like, oh my gosh, what? All the time.
That is okay. That is okay. That is part of what some of the things I have a fur baby. I locked him upstairs. But I do want to say really, really quick that pitching is part of the process, and getting rejection is part of the process, getting to the yeses. What we want to do when you do hire publicists is that we're not trying to hate on you by saying, oh, that's not going to work, but we're trying to make it so that you don't get the no, you don't get the rejection, because a lot of times you only get a first chance to make a first impression. So when we
Absolutely.
say no, not yet, no, you're not ready for Tamron Hall yet, but maybe you can go on this particular channel. Don't put your nose up at it, because we're trying to take you stair steps.
Yeah,
We're trying to take you stair
absolutely.
steps of where to go first, second, and third. No one starts out from the beginning and goes all the way to the top of the food chain of the media, in the top market, on the top show. And that's the part that I have the most frustration about. Giving an example without naming names, someone had a book, and the book came out earlier this year, and they were like, I need to hire a publicist. So I was like, okay, let's see what you got. And before you really hire a publicist, you have to determine the ROI. So one book, you got to sell a million of them really to make some money with it. So let's see what else do you have going on. So I look for a website. I don't see a website. Look on the Instagram. Instagram has 4 links. All 4 links go to a Amazon, go to a Barnes and Noble, go to all the books. It's like, these are not websites. I'm like, what are we selling besides this book? So if I were in, the average publicist, maybe 2,500 up to $10,000 a month. So if you're in there, and you've got to do it for more than a month, you've got to do it
Exactly.
for
Exactly. Yes.
3 months, 6 months, probably, but a year retainer is really what you hire publicists for. So you're looking at, okay, you're spending a minimum of $2,500 a month. You're selling one book. How many books do you think you have to sell? So if I were them, there's a lot easier way if you just try and sell that one book. Okay, to make enough money so you can hire a publicist.
Right.
First, you need a website, so you need money for that. So you need to have an email list, but who's buying the book? So you don't wait until your book comes out, the week of your book, and say, "Hey, my book just came out. Buy it." It's like, where's the plan of the strategy? Anybody who's launching anything, this is the thing. It takes planning, and
It's a strategy, right?
just
It's a
campaign strategy.
you and
Believe
people don't, yeah, and I tell people all the time, when someone comes to me, I ask them, especially an author, because we're on an author. Let's stay with that. We're on an author, and you're right. You need to sell a million of them just so you can see a profit, because you still have to purchase these books at whatever wholesale cost that you're getting. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, what else are you selling? Like, do you have a program? Do you have something that can be added to that? Are you a speaker? Like, what else is it? So I tell my clients, listen, being an author is great, but you've got to have another call to action to match this, because you are not going to get rich off of selling a book unless you land in a school and they have your book as one of the books for the students to purchase. And
That part.
even that. So if you're not your biggest cheerleader, something is wrong. I get it. However, when you want people to know more about you, you really have to sit down and think about it and listen to a publicist. Listen to people like you and I, because we know how the media thinks.
Mhm.
You land in a media platform, And then you call us and you're like, oh, I just got into Good Morning America, which this is a true story, Dr. Pam. Someone came to me, she was on Good Morning America, and the type of business that she had, I was like, really? You got into Good Morning America? That's great. And she's like, well, yeah, and I want to, get into more because, what her business is. And it kept, and not that I didn't feel that her business was newsworthy. I was just like, Good Morning America picks. And so they're like, okay. And so we spoke and I had to do my research. Publicists, we got to do our research. I did my research. This was in the middle of COVID. The business that she does was a national awareness day, which was bringing laughter and fun and all of this. Now she had a website, she had an online footprint, she checked off all the boxes for when Good Morning America's looking for a topic like this. She checked off all the boxes. They called her, hey, let's do this. Those are one of the rare opportunities she fit in. But then when I was talking to her about it, I was like, okay, we need to keep this momentum going. She felt that Good Morning America was enough. And she was just like, well, I need you to really push Good Morning America, like, to just keep pushing this story, And I'm just like, that's not what a publicist does. I'm sorry. Let me explain to you what really a publicist does. And Dr. Pam, I want people to really understand what we really do. Like, we put sweat, tears, and pain into this, and people still do not understand what a publicist does, how much work we put in. They feel that, we get you this media platform, like we didn't do anything for the last, 2 or 3 days. Like it is a constant working, thinking, okay, you know what, this, oh gosh, I got to reach out to this person because this person just may fit in there. And I really want people to just break that myth of that, all we do is send pitches, or we always tell them, well, you're going to get into this one and not what they want. And it, like what you said, it's a strategy.
It is. And it's timing. It's timing.
It's
timing.
timing.
Even if you, I just spoke with someone that I have been trying to reach for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Time week after week, email, text, call, 6 weeks. Finally, I get them. They don't have to be apologetic. They're like, okay, what? And I basically gave my pitch. After 10 minutes, they said, okay, good, send it to me. And I'm like, we could have done this 6 weeks ago, but we don't own the media. Nope. We're on their time and we have to wait for them to respond. And it can take a while. So if someone only buys a PR package for, say, a month, which you really, if it takes 4 weeks to reach them, you're out of luck, because now you don't. And then the 6th week they respond, and I'm saying, well, I'm sorry, they're not my client no more, so I don't know.
And listen, and then the client
turns 4 weeks.
Yeah, and the client turns around and be like, well, I paid you and I ain't get nothing done. And I'm like, this is why we do not do a month. We don't do it.
No. That part is so asinine. But the part that you said, that you keep pushing Good Morning America, Good Morning, who we're gonna push it to the Today Show? So to Today Show, it's like, oh, okay, well, you good, you got GMA, well, you don't need Today. Why would they want to do that? They're going to find the competitor to whoever that company was and put them on their show, because they want to one up them, not to keep promoting you. This is a thing, Sharon. So I always tell people, I said, they are not in business to make you money. The media outlet, earned media, is trying to earn the respect of the audience to get more viewers. They're not trying to sell your book, sell your program. And if that happens, yes, but they could care less about that, because they are not the advertising department. They're the editorial department. They're the news department.
Yes. Oh my God.
That's hard.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because another frustrating thing that I get is, well, I want you to put out put this flyer out, and I want you to, get people to purchase all my books, and I want you to get butts in seats.
Well, that's advertising.
The myth of public relations is not advertising. I tell people, I am not a marketing specialist.
Yeah,
I am a
we're to get
publicist.
you
I tell
published.
your story.
We're storytellers. We tell the story, get them the hooks, tell the story. Even when we do like New York Weekly, so we do New York Weekly. There's a long form story. I put the link to your story and the link to my story. Those are long form stories
Yes.
that people can read your story of how you
Right.
do PR, how I do PR. That's a story. That is not an ad. Now, someone may read it and say, "Hey, I want to get in touch with Sharon," or "Hey, I want to get in touch with Pam," but it's not like an ad. It's not.
Right.
It's not website copy. It
No.
is. It is. It's a story that is like, what is the audience want? So a publicist is like, we have two clients. We got the client that's paying us, and then we have the other client, which is the media. So we want to be friends with the media. We want to keep giving them good stories because
Hmm.
if we don't give them good stories, they won't
They're
answer
not
our
going to come
calls
back.
anymore.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
So we
that's why
have,
we don't pitch you the people that don't fit, because it's not only will it hurt you, but it hurts us for our other
and then,
clients.
yeah, and it hurts us to the point where we start losing connections. So as
Yeah.
a publicist, somebody asked me the other day, what are they supposed to look for in a publicist?
Mm,
And I said, well, one, you need to see the longevity of how
yeah.
long they've been in. So that's one. And again, that's not the priority one. But the other one is see their roster, see how many people they were able to get into the media, because
Mhm,
that plays a huge part. Now,
mhm.
I tell people all the time, not all media is good media. However, a podcast is great media if it fits your genre.
Yes. Yes, if it's your niche. Mhm.
Local media is amazing. And the crazy part, Dr. Pam, why is it people frown on local media?
I love local media and I love the black press. I
Yes,
love if it's the
yes.
Amsterdam News, it's the Michigan Chronicle, it's the Afro, if it's the Washington Informer, if it is the Call and Post. I mean, I could name
Yes.
my, because they've been around, some of them 50, 60, 100 years, and they tell our stories. And I always tell people, I said, why do you frown on the black press? Before they were given any press to black people, they were there for you. Now you want to frown your nose up to black radio, black
Hmm.
newspapers. They still like black magazines. Black magazines are a little bit different. So they all want to be in like Essence and Black Enterprise and Ebony and things like that. That has a different, magazines have a different kind of thing. Speakers magazine, that has different. But like when I say like a black newspaper,
Oh
they don't
yeah,
want.
they turn their faces up. And I say to myself, I was like, well, first of all, why are you turning up local media when you are in their area? They're looking for
Yeah.
stories. Like, start from home. And
Yes.
that's what we do. We start from home. You want to go straight to mainstream. If people don't know you, why would, especially if you don't have a footprint,
Yeah.
especially if you do not have a footprint, you have not been seen in any type of media platforms at all. You don't have a YouTube page. You don't have an online footprint. Why would I reach straight out to ABC, NBC, CBS and say, hey, can you please, put my client on? Oh, no, they don't have any media coverage, but they have a great program or event or service. And they're not going to, they have nothing to research on.
Right. That is the thing. They want to look good to their audience and they
Audience.
want to look good
Yeah.
to their boss. So if they say they're bringing somebody on, a segment, and they said, well, what, they're in their little meeting. Well, what have they done? What let's see what they have. So they Google you and they hit maybe the news tab. And if nothing shows up, it's like, oh, well, they're too green for us. We
Hmm.
don't want to be the first one that they break their teeth, cut their teeth on. It's
And
like,
they
where
don't.
have they been? And so that's why local press is good. That's why local radio is good. That's why podcasts are good.
Podcasts are good.
Podcasts are really, really good because it will help people in a way to put a mirror to their face to hear how they sound, because they think
Hmm.
they are so ready when they
Hmm.
really are. They think they're so I put them on a half an hour podcast, and after the podcast, and I say, let's review your podcast. And they'll review it. I said, count your ums. It was every other sentence.
I love that. I love
I said,
that.
count your ums. I said, and you're ready for Tamron Hall. Okay. So let's count your ums. Let's work on this. This is a podcast. It's not even out national, but you're so ready. So let's listen to that. I said, count your ums, count your filler words, because sometimes people have their own filler words. And I said, do you punctuate every sentence with the word right? Right? How many times did you do that? So I just take the podcast and we do our own little media training. It's a mirror to their face. I said, you didn't think you needed training, but let's just go through it. And they're like, oh my God.
Can you imagine if you were on Tamron Hall doing that?
They wouldn't even get on tape. They wouldn't even pass the producer. You know, it's those things. And I call this therapy for PR girls, because so many times we are the person that is the fall guy, because the reason why such and such, why their event didn't take off, or why their book didn't sell, or why they don't have whatever they're supposed to have, because we didn't, we're the fairy godmother and we didn't do what we're supposed to do. It's like, no, there's certain things that need to be in place, in order, in time.
Yes.
And you said something about checking the boxes. So Sharon, tell them some of the boxes that need to be checked before they get to where they think they should go. Like, what are some of the basic things that they need to have in place?
Well, first and foremost, Dr. Pam, they need to have a website. You need to have a website. Even if you do not have social media, which in my professional opinion, you should have a website, a social media presence. But if you do not have a website, something is wrong. You cannot use a third party platform as your website. So website, please. Second thing is having an online footprint, which is your social media, because that also is showing your expertise. You're giving content. Once you give content to show that you are an expert, now things rise. People start looking at you, not cross-eyed, but with their eyebrows up, like, you make a good point.
And also too, they want to see how consistent you are. They want to see maybe if you have a tribe, because the more eyes or ears that you bring to the outlet, say if it's TV, they want to know that maybe you have 5 or 10,000 people on your Instagram or your Facebook, and those people, you will share that you're on their network, and then that way that network will have more viewers.
Absolutely.
So that's why they want you to have a little bit of an audience before you try to pimp their audience, right? The pimp to get on their audience. So you got to have an audience before you have an audience, because they really, the media is in business to make money, and the more of a audience they have, the more money they make, because they sell advertising. But anyway, that's number one. The thing about the website, though, this is the thing. They can have a website, and I want it, definitely got to have a website, and the website can't be whack. It's got to be right, but that's a whole nother story. But they should have an email address that matches that website.
Miss
Girl,
Dr. Pam,
that Yahoo ain't gonna get it.
Please say it again for the people in the bleachers.
Have an email that matches your website. Do not do Yahoo. Do not do Gmail. Do not do
AOL.
AOL. If you doing AOL, get out of here. And basically sometimes because it shows unprofessionalism that you didn't even take the extra time to put that match together. Oprah is Oprah.com. Steve Harvey at steveharvey.com. I mean, it's not gonna be Steve Harvey at gmail.com.
Oh my goodness. You said get out of here with the AOL. You'd be surprised how many people send me from AOL.
God. And they want to be on TV.
Oh my goodness.
They want to be on CNN. They want to be a contributor, a regular contributor on CNN.
So here's the thing. You want to get into the media and you do not have your business domain as an email. Do you know there are certain media platforms that rejects those regular, and a lot of people don't know that. They think when I tell them, do not send me an email from your Gmail account, send it to me from your business account. They're like, oh, I don't check that. Well, you better start.
Yeah, what you don't check your business? Like, what the heck? Okay. It's very simple to do. So it's not like you need to have a whole IT department to figure that out. You just need
Thank
to
you.
go Google on YouTube or something and figure out how to get your email together. So they
Exactly.
have a website, they have a Gmail, they have a social media print, they're consistent, they're regular, they have some numbers on that thing. So what else do
Exactly.
they need? But let's talk about pictures.
So, my pictures. Ooh, Dr. Pam, pictures, pictures, pictures. If I get one more person that sends me a picture in the car with the seatbelt across their chest, and they're looking at you with the selfie, like, "Hey, how are you?" And here's the thing, I went
Seatbelt
to
selfie.
okay, I went to and don't send me a selfie. You're not in the car, but you send me a selfie. You think this is a professional picture that you want to send to the media. Either way, I went to a selfie workshop, and someone told me that the best light in the car when you do a selfie. And I said,
Because it
okay,
has
that
all the
makes
windows
sense.
in
Yeah,
it. Mhm.
that makes sense, but that's not appropriate for sending it in as your professional headshot to the media. It just is not. So yes, a professional headshot, please, not a selfie, not a cell. And I know some of these cell phones they have like they sometimes is just as good,
Yeah.
but have somebody take your picture professionally. I don't want to see halfway your arm is up and it looks like you took this with your. It it has to have you have yes exactly. It infuriates me that I get these pictures and I say to them, who took these? Like, you didn't think that you needed to get professional pictures. And then another thing about professional pictures, please update your pictures at least a year or 2 years,
Right.
especially if you change your look.
Yeah. That is so important. I saw a picture that I know the person sent me a picture, and then I went to look at their social media, and the social media picture is like 10 years old. I'm like, you clearly do
Don't
not
look
look like this anymore.
no.
Like, what are we doing? And so those are the kind of little things that we can't do the press releases for you, or the press relations for you, or the media relations for you, because now we have to stop, fix, fix your brand, tell you to pull your slip up, pull it down, pull it around. It's like all the baby steps, but then it's like, but I think I'm ready. No, you're not. It looks easy. That's the problem with what we do, Sharon. We
Mm-hmm.
make it look
We make it look
easy,
easy.
so that people are like, oh, well, I just need to do what you did for them. Well, you don't realize that I've been working with them
Behind the
for
scenes.
6 months. They had all their other things together before we start really pitching them out. Because once we start pitching them, it's like a machine. We're just boom, 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 boom. But if
Doing
I
it,
have to
putting
stop
it
and
out.
say, oh, but they need a headshot or they need a bio. How about a bio? Not an
I was
obit.
just about that was at the tip of my tongue. That was at the tip of my
Then
tongue.
bios be sounding like such and such was born on such and such. I'm like, this is not an obituary, ma'am. We
I
need a
said,
bio. I was like, we are
please.
all born. Those are excess words we don't need in the bio. We know we were born. We not would not be here if we weren't born. Such and such
Exactly.
was
That's
born
funny.
in.
Yes, I've had those bios also. I've had to redo, recreate, put it to rest, and resurrect.
And this is all just to try to get the media. So all these steps beforehand to make sure that they all look good. So that they look good, sound good, look professional, they're ready. They are on they're on their A game. They're on their A game, because the media is always looking for ways to say no. And if they
Hmm.
see any of those things are out of whack, or not quite right, or they're curious about, or they got to try and figure out too much, they'll just say no.
They'll say no. You know what else? You know what else is I tell clients, and this is a really big pet peeve of mine. So you can understand this. When you started PR, there was no social media, there was no online, right?
No, no.
There is this now. So before we had social media, people want to post any and everything, regardless what it is. They're like, I am putting this out here. It's my personal page. I don't care what. I'm in business, but this is me. This is my personal life. And I tell clients, I even tell when I do free workshops, you hear this, do not post anything on your social media platform that your grandmother will say, what's that?
What you doing?
What you doing out there?
What you doing? Like, what? It will come back and bite you in the butt. The thing that it is that I remember, I think was it Kevin Hart that was almost, he was going to host the Grammys, but then they found something in his social media 10 years ago, and it was like, dude, you out of here. And it was like he had said something negative.
Mm-hmm.
And LBT, that was not politically
Not
correct.
a good politically correct, right?
So 10 years ago, he just thought he could get a yuck out of it, and people laughed 10 years ago. But you try to do it in 2022, it was like, no, sir, you are not going to be our host for, and he lost. And it's so many things like that. People put stuff out there for the yuck or try to get the likes or try to start some controversy, and they think it's cute. And I'm telling you, it will lose you contracts. It will lose you media opportunities. It will lose for you trying to get a yuck. Oh, that was so hilarious. Or you putting down your ex-boyfriend or whatever it is. Don't
do
if
it.
your grandmama won't approve, don't put it up there. That's
Don't
right.
put it up there. Don't
Big Mama will slap you, okay?
Please. And so, when people think about PR, I really would love for them to think about us as the storytellers, is what you mentioned, the message creators,
Yes.
because it's a message we're putting out for them. We're
It's
putting them in a.
It's hooks and angles.
Yes.
Hooks and angles. That's
Yes.
what we're thinking about all the time. We're looking at hooks and angles. We're looking at hooks based on what's going on in the news during this time, and angles based on maybe what it is that media outlet would like the best, because we know that outlet. It's like, okay, well, what's going on in the world? What is that media outlet like? What is that person good? I mean, it's like a soup. That's why I like it. It's like a soup. You're trying to figure out the recipe different every time.
What if you're gonna throw in some onions, some peppers, some meat? Like, what are you gonna throw in there that's gonna spice it up more?
Yes.
But
yes.
I get some of the crazy things, and I guess because I say this is because entrepreneurs, they're very passionate about what they do, and they come up with these grandiose ideas, and they come up with angles. And when they come to you with these angles, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you fact check this? Like, we got to fact check this.
Yeah. It's like, what news outlets are you looking at? But the whole thing too is that they've got to be a little bit of a news hound to really understand if they want to be in the news, like what it is news. What does a producer consider news? So listen with a different ear, listen to the lead-ins, listen to the news or how things are positioned, and then see how do you fit yours in with that. Because what they're looking at is like marketing and advertising. How do I sell something? But it's like you've got to come to the publicist to help you figure out that messaging so that it fits as a news story.
Right.
And that's one of the main things. What is the main website you want me to put down for you, Sharon? What's the one?
Netstruck PR. So that's NET STRUC PR.
Okay.
.com.
.com. And then obviously we know that her email matches that as well. So we got to go there.
Yes. It was.
That's it.
You mentioned some. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, no. NETSTRUC. C is right before the P.
Okay. And make that a small C.
You mentioned executive producers. They're the ones that makes the decision. Yep, that's it. They're the ones that makes the decision. And I come across people and they're like, oh, I met the reporter. I definitely love how this reporter does their show, or this host, how they love their show. And I've been talking to them and they have not budged. And I said, because they're not the ones that, brings in the angles. Like, it's their producer. So when you run into a TV host, ask them, who's your producer?
There you go. Because that's their job 24/7 to really find those stories, find the people, put the whole segment together, and then the reporter just delivers what the producer gives them.
What they give them.
And sometimes it may have a little bit, depending on the market. Like if it's a smaller market, but definitely not a New York market. Everybody
not a New York market.
No.
And they come in.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because I get people. I had this one person send me the reporter's information, the entire information. And I actually, because they kept telling me, like, I want to get on their show. They told me, yeah, sure, no problem. And, and shame on the reporter. Because the reporter literally should have said, well, listen, hey, let me guide you over to my executive producer. But they didn't. So when I reached out to the reporter, I said, hey, my name is Sharon Leid. I'm from Netstruck PR. I'm calling on behalf of so-and-so. You gave them their contact information. They said they never asked the right question. Now, this is a reporter, right? So they're saying they never asked the right question. They just wanted my contact information. And I gave them my contact information. I said, here you go. They said, what did they want? I said, they want to be on your show. They said they never asked. They just kept talking about all the work that they're doing and how great they are and how they love my show and all of these things, but they did not ask the correct question.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And we get caught up with the fame of being in front of this person who's been on TV or radio, or whatever, but you have to, one, not just ask to be on their show, but to say, how is it I can help you build on your show? Because sometimes it may not be you.
Right.
As many times as I have gotten people on on shows that have not been my client, and that's because I'm building a relationship with this platform. So if I don't have a client with a particular topic, I do have somebody that's in my network that I have known that can cover this story very well. I'm going to give them that because I'm not going to lose. Because when I'm ready to pitch to them, if it fits, they're going to take it. They're going to do it for me. So it's asking the question.
Yeah, that is really key in relationship building. Even if you can't, just like we would hate if someone just called us all the time when they needed something. You want to build a relationship just so that you can say, well, how can I support you? How can I help you? And it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
So it's just that part of it is networking 101. Like we learned that from Dr. George Fraser, right? You got to know how to do that. So
the network guru.
I appreciate you coming on with me today, Sharon, because I'm telling you, this thing right here, this PR business is no joke. I'm telling you. I mean, we are part therapists and publicists at the same time.
Absolutely. And sometimes it is a thankless job.
It is. It is.
It's sometimes
because we make it look too easy. We make it look too easy. It's like, oh,
people think, you know what, Dr. Pam, people think that what you said, we make it look easy, but we've been doing it for years. We've created relationships. We have done a lot with this. But also when you have gotten clients on, this is a true story. I've gotten clients on this one particular client, PBS, gotten them on local news. They lived in Virginia. I got them in local news. I've gotten them on New York digital platforms. I've gotten them on all of this. And then at the end of the contract, they were not satisfied. Now, I did a 6-month contract.
Now, PBS alone is 100 million people, right? Just that. So if they just had a dollar for each people, you know what I'm saying? Just like 100 million.
I was like, what? Are you kidding me? They wanted Tamron Hall. They wanted Good Morning America. They wanted all of, and mind you, they came to me with nothing. They literally just launched their product. They came to me. We worked out everything. I got them on PBS. I throughout the PBS was the last one because I was pitching. I was pitching and I
Yeah, it
was
takes a
pitching.
long time.
And I because I knew the producer there.
But it
So
still
it
takes a long time. Yeah.
6 months.
Yes, exactly. Like I chased people around. I would tell people today, I said, I've been chasing you all around on the internet for about 6 weeks. I said, and you had nobody's on vacation that long. He just
Mm,
started laughing. I was like, you
yeah,
realize that we are chasing you, right? We are trying to reach you. And it does take some time. I get it. People are busy. We get
does
200, 300, 400 emails a day. I mean, so you can't respond to everything. But
right.
when we do the work, if it's just the PBS or those kind of things, they are, but even I have clients where I've had them do TEDx talks, PBS. I've introduced them, even like the people that we know in our network, we introduce them to other people that have gone on and done things for them. I mean, one connection leads to another, but a publicist is connected to a lot of people.
Yes,
So it may not end up straight out to like, oh, you're going to be here, but that connection is what you needed for your next level. And it
yeah,
may that seed is planted. And a seed is planted because we made that connection. So
yes,
those are the things that I say you can't really, they're intangible things you don't really understand when you hire a publicist, what that means. You're part of our ecosystem now. And that we could
absolutely.
say, hey, we can make one phone call and say, hey, this event is coming up. I think they'd be a great speaker because you know them and you send them that news clip that they were on, that newspaper article that they were
Hmm.
in. We send them the professional photos and they're in there
And they're in
because
there.
they've been working with us. But if they decide to only do 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it's not enough to
It's
even
not enough.
to germinate anything.
It's
It's
not
it's just
enough.
it's
So
it.
I want to let people know that if you get someone and you get them to say, let's do 3 months, I'll do the 3 months for you. Just pay me the 3 months. You need to run. You need to run. And because you're not going to get anything tangible, especially if you're starting out fresh.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have too much to build. You have
It's
too
too
much to
much to
build.
build. And
Mhm.
even the seasonal ones, even the people that have, there is still, because each publicist is different. Like Dr. Pam, you do a different style than I do a different style.
Mhm.
Everybody has a different style. The goal is to get you in the media. Everybody has a different media list.
Yes,
So
that's true.
it varies. So you want to make sure that you have the right tools in place. A one sheet. I've had people say, "What is a one sheet?" You told me that too. Somebody, so you spoke to someone and they said, "What's a one sheet?"
Okay.
It's like, okay, we got a lot of work to do.
We do. Well, thank you for joining. Get out there, get known. This has been, if you've been listening, you've been listening to the as a fly on the wall of some of the things, the names are withheld to protect the
Yes,
innocent.
we kept it
Or
PG. We kept
right,
it G rated.
it's been G-rated. But yeah, it is one of those things. And so find out more about netstruckpr.com. Sharon is in New York and she has like I said, each publicist has its own different niche, media lists and things like that. But sometimes we work together.
We work
Sometimes we'll
together.
have a client where we work together and say, hey, can we work together on this? And that's one of the things with my friends in the
Yeah,
PR world where we would say, hey, I've been trying to reach this person. Do you have a contact? Or, so we always do that with each other. So if you feel like you vibe better with Sharon, vibe better with me, whatever, or you want to vibe with both of us,
both of
we
us.
might could put together a proposal for us to come together to work with you. That could be a thing
Absolutely.
as well. So partnerships and collaborations are real important. And also YB, he talks about you as well, and he's just kind
Yes,
of getting into the thing.
he's getting
YB
into it. He's
YB
great.
publicity. So yeah, so all of us have different strengths, but we can work together depending on what your ultimate goal is. The thing of it is you have to have a goal. And good. Someone said here, this says this is valuable information. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, thank
Unravel
you.
and win. All right, good. Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoy this because this was therapy for us.
It is.
So
Definitely.
we hope it was good for
Definitely.
you as well. So thank you, Sharon. I will talk with you later then. God bless.
Thanks so much, Dr. Pam.
All right, take care. Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye.
So make sure that you get in touch with Sharon there at Netstruck PR. She is doing the thing over there. And let me tell you, she said she's not an OG, but she is an OG as well. So I'm Pam Perry and I'm out. Talk to you later. God bless. Thanks for watching, listening, and also make sure you like and subscribe us on YouTube.